All right. I believe we are live. So, guys, this is going to be a live video. If you're not familiar with a live video, it just means that right now you're either seeing me live, or if you happen onto the video later, the video was pre-recorded and you'll be able to also see that we have a live chat. So if you're on your TV, tablet, phone, or whatever it may be, you have the option to chat with me. Now I'm going to do a few introductions. And we'll be talking about some updates real quick. So the video we're going to be doing today is specifically to address a lot of people that are already members of this channel. We'll be doing questions and answers about Section 8, okay? That covers the wide spectrum of what Section 8 housing is. Kiss by Dark. How you doing? Welcome. You're my second person to show up. I guess everybody's busy on a Thursday, so... So we're going to do a few updates. Now, for those of you who are, like I said, not familiar with a live video, these do run a little bit longer, and we'll be discussing a wide variety of topics about Section 8. So if you don't like long videos, this is probably not for you, okay? You can watch for a little bit, come back to it later, So the introductions is I own Section8Consulting.com, work with thousands of people every year that need to be able to get housing, and they find the process to be too tedious. In addition to that, we've been able to expedite a lot of people's applications, legally, by having the right questions and answers. And you see, there's more than 200 videos I've made, so it's not like this is something new to me after 20 years. So, the cat video. So, also, many of you know that a part of the channel is me talking a lot about my famous pets. I'm going to be introducing you all to Big Pops tonight. He's a big, big cat, and I'm going to possibly show you another one. Okay, so I know I have a lot of pet lovers that are visiting my channel. Jalen, hey, well, welcome to the channel. So apparently some of y'all are getting notifications finally out of 20,000 people that are actually members of this channel. Some of you actually do get these notifications, which is exciting. Gail Resources, hey, so she's a longtime member. Hey guys, by the way, whether you're religious or not, happy Halloween. So I know we're getting ready to celebrate that, and I don't give a damn how old I am. I can trick or treat with the best of them. Of course, I'll be providing my own treats, and of course, the cats. Those of you who don't know, I own 22 cats, and they're all rescue cats. They've all been damaged, hurt, or abused in some way, and so they will be greeting our young guest for Halloween night. So I'm excited about that as well. And back to the cat video I was going to tell you about before I go on to the Section 8 part, which is a little less interesting. Not going to be able to make that video. Some of these cats are just too wild for me to handle, and it would be. I tried to pre-make the video, and it's just too much work. Sorry. I could show y'all some of the more tame ones I have, but I'm not going to have to call an ambulance in order to make a video. I understand a lot of you want to see my cats, but some of them are just not designed to be held. Okay. Moving on from that, I did speak with a reporter for Arizona today, and we discussed some of the housing crisis problems there. If any of you are from Arizona or know anybody that's having problems with the state of Arizona, especially in Las Vegas, I forget the other name of the city, please contact me through email. My email is at the top of the comment section and also in the video. She's looking to talk to a few people that are struggling with the Section 8 problems for that state, okay? And she's a good lady. Moving on. So let's talk about Section 8. You're all here for that. So, we've talked that to death now for 7 years and on YouTube. So if you have questions, now's the time to ask, We have successfully survived the pandemic, and we successfully watched the prices of houses go to astronomical amounts. We watched close to 40 million people be evicted, another 8 million people put out of their homes that owned them, and they're now homeless. And so this is the greatest migration in U.S. history, watching people struggle to find a voucher anywhere. Some people are leaving and moving 10, 20 states over just to find a housing authority that is open, that will hear their case and give them a voucher. So it is a challenge. Things have picked up for me. I do a lot of work with a lot of clients, and this is the 4th spike of the year where I get contacted by so many people. There simply are not enough hours in the day to be able to manage all the cases. I've been up since 2:00 today, talking with people on the phone, trying to handle their cases and get it expedited. I honestly feel bad for people that don't even have a consultant or anybody to help them with this, because the odds of actually getting a voucher on your own are so minuscule that It's just truly unfair. Also, as far as requests for a reasonable accommodation, that is a big topic that I will be covering, I believe, Sunday. If I can get enough energy together, we're going to go in very detailed depth about that. A lot of you guys are struggling if you already have a voucher or you're trying to utilize your apartment for an extra room or other accommodations because of your mental health or your physical health. We'll be talking about those accommodations and all the legal implications under several different federal laws. And I'm going to show you how to compel the housing authority to cooperate. If they're unwilling to do so, for the grand total of about $65, you can actually cut and release and file your own federal lawsuit. Now, I'm not saying you can adequately represent yourself, but it sends a very powerful message for $65. So just in case y'all are wondering, I am not an attorney, but I got to say, when you serve a housing authority with a federal lawsuit, it's not a joke, is it? Even though they might throw it out. So for those of you that are sitting there quietly, I see there's 10 people here. If you've got questions about low-income housing, Section 8, please ask. This is what this video is about. I know many of you have questions. And so this is what I'm here for. Since you guys have not thought about what y'all want to say or ask, we'll talk about a few other things. Oh, Kiss by Dark says, oh, by the way, guys, you can chat in the window. This is a live chat. So if you have the ability to see people chatting in the window on your phone or your TV or whatever, chat with me. That's, So she says that I lost my voucher due to my case manager. She allowed me to get evicted due to her not answering the phone. What can I do? Okay, so we can appeal that decision, Kissed by Dark, depending on the case details. Not all is lost. Now, if this is something where it happened 5 years ago, it's over with. There's nothing that can be done there. We can file a 6-page OVM, and then we could probably figure out how to lodge it under a form of discrimination under several different titles under Title 24 to file that case and then get them to reverse course and then maybe even open up arbitration between that of the housing authority and HUD itself. Again, I said I'm not an attorney, but I think I can give you adequate direction in that area. So on DD, welcome to the channel. I see you have a question. I was placed in an apartment under emergency situation. Will I need to renew a lease each year? Well, when you say emergency, you didn't state whether or not you're a Section 8 client or so. I'm going to presume that you are in some respect or another, subsidized Section 8 or something like that. You do have to meet the rules of the actual complex. So they will have policies if you signed a lease. If you did not sign the lease, then we need to look into further what program put you in there and what were the terms of that particular contract. So if this was engineered by the housing authority or some other nonprofit, we would want to see whether or not they have a HAB contract or whatever it may be. And so that's, a situation where you're renewing it. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't apprise you of your rights and responsibilities of being there. That's a little bit stunning. But again, I don't know your whole story, DD. So that's one of those things. I'm going to say you should email me and we could talk a little bit about it and see what can be done in that respect. Maybe just as simple as a phone number, call them. Kissed by Dark, this past July. Okay, so your case is extremely fresh. So this is Kissed by Dark. I'm just going to say that, yeah, you're within your legal rights and perimeter of at least under a year to be able to do so. If they made any mistakes in this whatsoever, that's how you really can make this case be compelled. I want you to guys understand something, especially those that are new to this channel. The housing authority is housed and employ county employees. These are not federal employees. Okay, the housing authority is not HUD. A lot of you think that the housing authority is HUD. Oh, I'm going to the HUD. I have a HUD voucher. No, you don't. HUD is in DC. Okay, that's the federal government. Those are federal employees. The local housing authority, the little shack or the house or the building, that is owned by the state and is those people in that building are county employees. Okay, they are answerable to HUD. When HUD says you do, you will comply. You will comply. So what I'm saying is, a lot of you with some of these cases, when we file, we're asking HUD to make a determination based on federal code, federal regulation, make a call to the housing authority, and there won't be any double talk from the housing authority employees. They are nobody. They have no authority. That's what's so interesting. They call it a housing authority, but they do not instrumentally have any authority. When an employee from DC HUD's office calls, the only thing you're going to do is shut the fuck up and follow whatever they tell you to do. So there won't be any debate. So I just want to distinguish that. Excuse the language, but yeah. So just so we're clear about that. My Kiss by Dark says, "May I pay you for help?" I offer consulting, guys. Okay, so that's very clear. I do that. Okay, but I'm not here to sell anything. If you believe that you could use my help and it would make your life easier, I'm happy to assist you, Kiss by Dark. So I'll give you a link. I encourage you to look at my reputation first and look at our website. Make sure this is absolutely something that you want to do, okay? Because I'm not out here. People don't have money to burn, and that's a decision you'll have to make for yourself. So I'm going to give you 2 links, and if it's something that you believe that I can equitably handle for you, then do so. Okay, so those are the links for you in the chat window. Kenya, welcome to the channel. Good to see you. Glad everybody's joining me. I wish I was doing this on Halloween Day for some reason. It seemed like it'd be a lot more exciting for me than a Thursday. So Kenya says, how can I find out about the limit for a state? Kenya, could you be a little bit more specific when you say a limit for the state? Because you left that question as open to interpretation. I don't quite know what you mean. So if you could follow up and further in the comments, so I know exactly what the question is. I believe that's Guillermo, if I'm correct. Caballero. I hope I'm saying that right. My Spanish is not always so good. Despite living 20 years in Houston, I should be able to speak every Latino Latin language. I should be able to speak them all. But unfortunately, I have a great vocabulary of just words, and I'm still learning how to put sentences together like a grade school child. So I apologize for mispronunciation on your name. But anyways, you go on to say, what are the best states to own a Section 8 rental? Well, you can't own a rental, okay? So I think that you probably messed up when you typed that out. If you're wanting to do a home purchase, so you're utilizing your voucher in order to own a home, use that voucher payment towards the mortgage of a home, it depends on which housing authority and which counties you want to go to. There's not available in every city. If you're just asking what's the best states where you can rent the best, where's the best place to live with a Section 8 voucher, that's open to debate. I wouldn't recommend California, New York. I wouldn't recommend most of the southern states or Florida. I would recommend Washington, Oregon, the Midwest, and the lower East Coast, possibly Texas too. Some states are struggling. Look, when you evict 40 million people and you put another 8 million out of their homes, what you do is you create a tidal wave of people. And let me tell you something, there are not 40 million vouchers in the universe to give out. So we've got people that are migrating all over the country like they're hobos right now. And this is America. This is the kind of shit I expect out of a third world country. But when we have a pandemic, we treat our old and disabled like trash. And we have to make them struggle to find anything. Go live in a cardboard box. Here's one flip flop and a roll of socks and a ham sandwich. Good luck to you. It's disgusting what I'm watching play out. People, most of you have worked all your life, and we have this event that damn near destroys most of you financially. Some of you are on fixed incomes, and when you actually need help, what do you get? You get a rock in the eye. You know what I'm saying? It's so upsetting to watch this play out. I've got 70-year-old women calling me that are sleeping in their cars. Okay. And what are they repaid with? They have to talk to some shitty, condescending little witch at a housing authority, talking shit to her, all to discourage her from even filling out an application. So you see, this is very personal for me to help y'all with these things. So it's not, some of y'all think it's about money. Look, man, I do 4 consults a day. I only take a certain number of them, and it's very personal for me. I'm very passionate about getting the job done. I'm very serious about it. I'm also very serious about what's happening to most of you, because most of you are suffering through this process with a little hope. Anyways, let me get up that tear. It's always a sensitive topic for me. I try to avoid it when I'm on live videos, but I always get wrapped up in it because I would really just love to see every housing authority, the whole system disbanded, because it's nothing but a fabulous joke. TH Lady, hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm trying to move to Washington, D.C. area, but the housing is astronomically high there. I'm disabled. Can you please help? Any area near there is fine, Virginia, Maryland, or any state. Well, you know, Lady TH, anyways, that's your YouTube name. The best way to handle that is doing open public requests so we can determine. First, we want to determine, okay, so what states are great to live in? Then we start looking at a number of counties. Then we want to compel them to give us and tell us, hey, how many vouchers do you actually have in the building? And if you're giving out those 400 vouchers, for what specific reasons, what type of person would I need to be in order for you to give it over? What preferences would I have to meet? That's a big part of my job. It's not filling on somebody's name and address, and then you just hope you get a voucher. There's a lot that goes into what I do as a consultant. So I'm telling you, there's many things to consider there, Lady TH. But you know, the old saying, like the old timers used to say, is don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you would want to simultaneously apply for as many housing authorities as humanly possible, along with a really good set of answers, so that you're able to get every preference. So if they say, hey, look, you know, today we have $1 million for vouchers, but only if you're disabled or only if you're homeless, then when you arrive and you're doing applications, you need to be the picture of what it is they want to give out vouchers for. The only way to do that kind of exploratory research is to do open public requests and compel their in-house counsel to turn over their numbers to you and their funding levels. That's what I do. And then you get what you get. In addition to that, having a good set of answers and 20 years of experience also helps. But, you know, I've had a lot of good clients that are just as smart as a whip, and they successfully, painfully, but successfully managed to get through it watching 200 videos I've made. Okay. So it just depends. But determination is a big part. Education is 50% of it, and experience is the remaining part. A lot of what I do, I couldn't have done 10 years ago, because it takes dealing with hundreds of housing authorities to see every which way they operate and how you can counter that and how you can get through the system without them blocking, purging you, or eliminating you. So anyways, long discussion there. But it's perfectly possible, can you, to do so. Also, if you already have a housing choice voucher, we just like to just port you to wherever you want, as long as it's in the continental U.S., and they're able to absorb whatever voucher you have. If you don't have a voucher, then it's a little bit more tedious process, but the reward is always the same: a voucher and a home to live in. Dee Dee. So Dee Dee says, my situation, I was living with my verbally abusive sister, and I'm sick and ready to leave, divorced, lost my home. I need to feel safe. The housing authority found an apartment for me. Is it a voucher? Now, so we know, here's the facts of the case. We know that the housing authority's found you something. So if they have done intervention on you, it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be a project-based housing, possibly TBAs, which is, TBBs, tenant-based voucher, or it could be EHV, emergency housing voucher. It's hard to say. My suggestion there, Dee Dee, would be I would need to some type of paperwork to see what they've done with you. Because think about this, guys. A lot of you, when you get a voucher, so let's think about this for a minute. This pad is a voucher, okay? This thing could authorize you to be a 202 voucher. It could instantly turn into a 202 where you're a senior and you're disabled, okay? It could be a Section 8 voucher where you're simply disabled. So this voucher, the funding, the money that's attached to it is going to decide what type of voucher you're really going to get. So it's kind of like a blank check, and depending on who you are, how old you are, and many other factors will determine what this does. And so, going back to what you were saying, Dee Dee, the fastest way, if you're in a bind right now, you're really in a bind, you need to get where you need to go and get safe housing and feel safe, then there's two programs in mind. And that's another neat thing about knowing me, is because I'm able to house hundreds of different types of vouchers right in here. I've got a killer memory. So as you're talking and you're telling me your case, I'm able to quickly roll through 20, 30 different types of vouchers in my mind, and I can start eliminating things down to what would be the best for you. In this case, two things come to mind: VAWA because of domestic violence, and the secondary one that comes to mind, well, I should say it probably slipped my mind a little bit. Let's see. Come on, Jay. You know, it happens sometimes when you get tired. I had it on the tip of my tongue. I wanted to say it. Okay, so yeah, BAWA, and then we could do Housing First COC program. That we can float in about 35 days, provided you have the correct answers. The easiest way to have the correct answers is to know somebody that has their manual. Their manual is usually their operations and procedures manuals. The one thing they would prefer you never have, because if you had both the questions and the answers, what would happen? You'd get a voucher, wouldn't you? Do you think they would appreciate you having that manual? Well, I've got a whole room full of them. So you might see how a housing authority might despise me being involved in your case, because you got to have both the questions and the answers. It's very simple, isn't it? No wonder I have such a good reputation, right? You see, I don't play around with pamphlets, my friends. You know, anytime you guys want to find an operations manual for a housing authority, you call Nan and McKay for a juicy amount of money. You can buy them all for about $24,000. Nan and McKay makes all the operations manuals, procedures, policies, and everything for most housing authorities in America. Once you have that, baby, it's like the golden key. It tells me everything I need to do to exploit the hell out of you, to defeat any test that you're going to give, and pretty much roll me up and down a waiting list any which way I'd like. Now, could you defeat somebody that's 99 that has cancer in a wheelchair? Probably not. But hey, it's being second and third on that list, and it's nothing to cry about. That's the thing, guys. I'm not out here giving you guys advice. I'm telling you what's in the manual. If the manual says, hey, today's your first day at the housing authority, I need you to read 400 pages, and congratulations, you're now a housing authority specialist, that's what I'm operating with. Okay? So these are not my opinions. I'm not on here to preach, my friend. I'm telling you exactly what's in that manual. You listen, you'll get somewhere. Or you can take the advice of Cindy down the street that's having a rum and coke at noon, and she'll tell you all her opinions, and you'll end up on a waiting list for 900 years. Who knows? For as long as it lasts. I see lots of people take advice from friends and family and end up with nothing. So, anyways, let's get back to the questions, because I went on a rant again. Y'all know I'm famous for those rants, because once I start thinking about how shitty the system is, I tend to go off sideways on every little tear. So let's go back to answering these questions that people are asking in this chat window. So Dee Dee says, my situation, I was living with my verbally abused. Okay, so we went over that. Lady TH says, can email you first or call for consultation. This is the second part of the question. And then she goes on to say, she or he, do I have to live in that area first? Let's answer that question first. A lot of you guys want to know geographically what happens when you don't live in an area. Look, every housing authority is looking at two things to start with. If you can't get past the first two, you are absolutely screwed with this. One, they want to know that you live in the area. That represents 75% of what they're willing to deal with. Let's say, for instance, Houston, Texas, all right, where I live. Let's say I'm living in New Jersey right now, but during the summer while I was staying in Houston, I applied to the housing authority. Look, guys, the housing authority and these other agencies, they're not as smart as you think they are. Anybody, I have to be careful how I put this, because I don't want to encourage anybody to commit fraud or something like that, okay? But let's just say, within the limits of the law, what would prevent a person going down to UPS and getting a UPS real street address? You could actually purchase one online. And what would that do? That would grant you a address, not a P.O. box, a real street address for $20, your credit card number, fill it out. You don't even need a key. It's just a box and an address 1,200 miles away. Now, when the housing authority asks you for an address, what do you have? An address. Simple as that, right? What happens if you're homeless and say you move from Chicago and you're living at the Travel Lodge in a hotel? How would they be able to distinguish any room number you gave them? Well, I live at 1251 Street and I'm in Unit B, which would mean hotel room number B, right? The housing authority can't deny that. Now, when they go there, they're not going to, hey, is Sally there? Well, no, she's not. We have a new tenant there. You see my point? You could use the hotel. It's not like they're going to mail you something anymore. The old days of mailing are over with. They call you. So you could virtually be in Honolulu, give an address to a hotel room anywhere in the state. You've met the rule. Is a little bit more sophisticated than that, yes. So I don't want to get too deep into it, but you see my point. You could be a resident of 100 places at one time, and the housing authority is just not. If you think those guys have the time and the money to investigate where you live, you're truly out your mind. Those people barely get through their daily paperwork. If you think they're going to allocate $30 an hour for a private investigator to walk around with a camcorder to see whether or not you're living in the state or the county, no. They verify it by asking you for, sometimes documentation. So what would stop somebody from going online to wellsfargo.com? I'd like to open a checking account. Well, where do you live? They ask you to fill in your address. You print it out. Congratulations. You live in Chicago. You open up a checking account at Wells Fargo. You enter the address that you desirably say you live at. You print it out, and now you now live in Tampa, Florida. But you don't. That's how you defeat that. There's always ways to do so. Would you get arrested, or would it be illegal for you to claim that on an application? No, it'd just simply be a fucking lie. So what? There's no law against lying. That's the thing, guys. If you're going to play the game, you got to play it better than the people that created it. How many times do you think the housing authorities lied to you? That's a better question. Do you see them sitting in a jail? No. So, okay. Look, I wouldn't suggest it if it didn't work. Moving on, further questions. Do you have to live in that area first? So I answered that question adequately. And then Didi goes on to say, you are knowledgeable. I'm 55 and recently disabled, homeless due to losing my home. So you just mentioned 3 preferences out of 10 that, 1, 55 plus preference. Number 2, you said you're homeless. That represents 30% of how you're going to place. And then you said, what else? Where'd it go? Somebody commented, and then the other comments went up. So now I got to find it again. Okay, so let's see. I am 55. Oh, disabled. Disability, domestic violence, and homelessness are the 3 factors. If you get all 3, you'll pretty much rank in the top 5%. If you get more than that, you'll do even better. Those of you that average 6 out of 10 or better on preferences, all the preferences they offer, you usually get what you need very quickly. If you go up there and you say, hey, you know what? I'm disabled, I'm old, and I feel entitled to a voucher, that won't get you shit. Why? Because everybody that goes to housing authority is old and disabled. Okay. So that's why you need to have a lot of preferences built into this. If you're not disabled today, then maybe you should start therapy next week, get a diagnosis for bipolar, and then congratulations, you're now disabled. You see my point? If the law and requirements says it need to be that, then you have a week to figure out how to become that, and then you match the federal law. Nothing's been violated. You honestly are nuts. And I'm not going to say people that are bipolar nuts, but you see my point in essence. If it says on there you need to be homeless, then, well, here's the deal. Who exactly goes around and does a woods check? Pull over, go into the woods, and is Sally living in the woods? Do you think these people actually go to see whether or not you're really homeless? No. So a lot of you guys are looking at a lot of this that would rank you very highly, and you fail it so badly when, in fact, you think there's so much evidence required from the housing authority when, in fact, there's none. Most of what they ask you for at the housing authority is about money. Okay, they're not worried so much about your address. So there's all kinds of ways to persuade the system legally. Okay, if you know what you're doing. Jalen, hey, what's going on? Glad to have you back in the channel. Can you explain how the Section 8 percentage works towards rent? Okay, well, that can be sticky. Why? Because percentages depend on, 1, the type of program you're going to be participating in, 2, the type of voucher you're dealing with, 3, your personal income based on the area income. So you're looking at 4 different factors, and that can change from city to city. I would have to get very specific details from you, Jalen, to be able to answer that question adequately. But I think what you're really, truly looking for is there's a reason why you're asking the question. It'd be easier for you rather to pose it as a big open question like that and then to just tell me exactly to the point what it is you're wanting to actually know, because that question is too wide open for me, Jalen. Tell me why do you need to know that? What is it you're trying to learn? And I can probably give you an easier answer than me guessing from that question. So, Gale Resources, what's up? Jay, you have the goods. I do, and I get quite arrogant sometimes in these videos because it's what the luxury of doing something long enough is. You become like a professor. I no longer have to think about answers. I really do understand how it operates, and so with that, you kind of get a little bit of an attitude because you feel like you know too much. But the good thing is, for those that know me, it's benefited a lot of people. You think about 20 years, and you think about over 10,000 people probably. I haven't really checked the numbers on that. 200 videos, 7 years on YouTube. After a while, things. You could do my job. You could do it with your eyes closed to sleep. Okay. Is it difficult? Is there a lot of work involved? Absolutely. But the truest part of this, getting through this system, you know, um, after a while, you just get really good at it. So, anyways, Jill Bowman. Hey, what's up? Glad to see you back. Hi, it's Jill from San. Is it San Diego or San Juan? You have to tell me, Jill, because I'm not sure about that San part. San Juan. Oh, San Diego. Okay, I should look down one more comment. San Diego, man, that's a popular city. And eventually it's going to become like LA. So for those of you that live in San Diego, you better sit still, quit moving around because eventually San Diego in the next 5 years is going to become so expensive nobody's going to live there. I really have enjoyed working there. I got a landlord with over 100 units there, and I deal with people on both sides. I deal with a Section 8 landlord that owns a lot of properties. I know that one property is about 8 million. So you could really say, in essence, helping manage an $8 million property. And I screen tenants all the time. The nice part about it is when a consultant is the person consulting on a Section 8 property for a landlord, I consider things at an easier level than an idiot that didn't have a consultant because I understand the hardship of trying to find a place. I understand what you guys go through. So when I look at applications for Section 8 tenants, you've got a hell of a lot better chance through one of the buildings that I'm helping with the landlord than you ever would with a normal landlord because I do know just how tough it is out there. Pamela Foster, how are you? Pamela's actually a casework client of mine. If you're going through abuse and you are not comfortable getting worse, and already filed a complaint, reported to the state with proven a violation, what do you do in that situation? Well, Pamela, the first thing we must understand with reporting things, we talk about using different federal laws to make sure we're backing, we have the appropriate evidence, sticking strictly with that. But I think the tougher part for a lot of us is the wait. It takes time. Half the government still shut down. It's not operating correctly. So a lot of time when we file requests, think about this. For your request, there is 100 other people that have filed erroneous requests simply because they haven't taken their prescribed mental medications. They flipped out and they don't like the attitude of somebody, and that's how they feel discriminated against. And that's a bullshit case. And what that does, it ties up the whole process for everybody that has a legitimate case. So I would say, Pamela, the bigger thing is we have to wait for a sufficient amount of time for the investigation to clear. First, they receive it, then they review the case, the facts, and the details. Then they have to go and call the housing authority or the parties that are involved, and then they have to get a statement from them. So this is the duly appointed process to get through it. You're talking about weeks. So I would say before become impatient with it, just consider that we're dealing with the federal government, it's bureaucracy. So things will happen. The wheels are moving. They're just not moving at the pace we're normally used to. That's all it is. Look, guys, I'm working a lot of y'all's cases. I've got about 17 open right now this week, and sometimes I get people email me, an hour later. Well, what's going on with the case? Well, what the hell do you think's going on? I've had 40 minutes to work on it. So the postman comes in the morning. He's going to pick that letter up. It's going to get on the little car and it's slowly going to cross the country, and eventually it's going to reach. You see my point, guys? Patience is a virtue, because when you wait and you're used to adversity and waiting for the system to work properly, when the payday gets here, it's a very victorious day. So, Mary Jones, hey, what's going on, guys? I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. I'm struggling here. By the way, I bought some old Coca-Cola cups from Amazon. They're actually pretty good. you know, the big tumblers. So I don't know if they all like retro things, but I bought 8 of them. They're really good cups. You can't break them. And the cats don't mess with them as much because they're red for some reason. Anyways, let's see. Mary Jo goes on to say, "What if?" Okay, so I answer the question. Roller Bays. That's another person that I have an open case with. Can you use an address that is in care of like John Smith, CO, Jane Johnson? So you're asking to establish whether or not you can use that with a fictitious name? Yes, absolutely. It's not warranted that you have to have a durable power of attorney and thing like that, but yes, you can use a fictitious name. Would be sufficient. Most communications these days with housing authorities and so on are by virtue of electronic delivery. So, you know, email and so on. Yeah, that is, Didi, that is a big coffee. I'm a big fat person. You see that roll under my chin? That's that dieting I've been doing. But I got to tell you, this is a slow roll. So it takes a lot of coffee. I tried energy drinks, but those things are loaded with sugar, and I would look like somebody that had ADD, but popping around like popcorn. Oh, by the way, why don't we introduce Big Kitty? Give me pops. Oh, whew. This is Big Bear. He's a beastie, okay? Now, I'm 260 pounds. This cat right here I'm holding would go shoulder to shoulder or farther. He's about 30 pounds, and he's a beastie. Compared to a normal cat, he's about 3 times the size of your average house cat, and his claws are no joke. He will shred you, and if you hear that crying in the background, that's my other little monster that I posted a video about today. So why don't we get a looky look at him? Come here, Pops. Where are you? Bear. Here he comes. Be patient. Oh. So here is my other little squirrel. He is a rescue. We had a person drive by, throw him out the window like he was a piece of trash, and damn near killed him. It took $1,100 to save his life. They broke most of the bones in his legs, and he was literally handicapped, disabled, and in my bed for months. We restored him, as you can see. Good kitty. So that's what I do, folks. I don't just save people, I save cats. So that's a little one there. And that's, by the way, that's not the cat y'all are thinking about. My biggest one, that is not the biggest one I've got. One day I'll show you my Maine Coons. Okay. I know y'all know I have a lot of orange cats. I have about 7 out of 22. And by the way, we have one more kitty. What I'm going to do, real quick, let's see if she's up there. She is. Now, we'll get a very quick view of her, but I got to warn you, she's friendly until she's not. And I don't want to get shredded. Siamese are no joke. So I'm going to cover the camera real quick. And then I'm going to bring her over for just a minute, and you'll get to see my beautiful Siamese with blue eyes. What else can we do during a Section 8 video? We got to take a break sometimes, right? Give me 1 minute. Come on, girl. I'm gonna swear. Yeah, she is. Whew. All right. Say hello to everybody. Say hi, Mama. She's a rescue. She was abandoned, and somebody hit her in the face with a stick, almost crushed the left side of her head. She was almost blinded. We restored her. This is all because people treat animals like their dollar store toys. You wonder what happens to their children behind closed doors if they're willing to do that to a pet. So there's a special place in hell for people like that. You know, thinking about that real quick, I had got a property out in California, and a lady applied. And there's one thing I will not accept, and I told that landlord that. I looked at her criminal record, and I'm not going to say what her name is because I'm not allowed to do so. This woman had a pattern of abusing animals. So I let that bitch have it. Oh, yes. I denied her application. I called several of the other properties in the county to make sure she'd get projected there. And then invited 911 to come over and try to have her charged with felony trespass because I told her not to come there, and I told her on the phone. So I hope she really isn't living under a bridge, because that's really what I think of her. If you saw what I saw on her criminal record, lots of people have criminal records. I've helped people out of federal prison get a place to stay, but I will not put up with a person that abuses the elderly, children, and animals. I've got a real big problem, especially women. So, you ever come to my property and you've got that kind of problem, let me tell you something. You'll get rejected very easily, and I'll make sure you don't get any place to live. It's no joke with me. So, anyways, let's talk about the cats. So that's my sweet girl. She's great. She's a bed warmer, and she's she's very appreciative. So she's a good cat to have. She mated with the big Maine Coots. Now, this is going to be interesting because she's temperamental, and she's the boss around here. But so is my Maine Coots, and I think those two mated, and we're going to be adding probably between 4 and 9 more cats to bring our grand total on about 9 weeks up to 30 cats. Now, these good kittens, I'm going to be finding homes for them because they're not abused or damaged, and I feel that they would do well. My damaged cats, I keep for life because I'm not going to risk that they enter another home where they would be abused. I don't like taking chances. So I hope y'all have enjoyed seeing a few of the kitties. I would show y'all Snow Bear, but he would light my ass up on this video, and this shirt would get shredded, okay? It took a year to get him to trust me because he had a horrifying owner. And I hope that guy ends up in prison someday for what he did to that cat. He's got burns on him. So anyways, let's talk about Section 8 again, because that'll end up making me emotional thinking about old Snow Bear. So yeah, we're going to have some Siamese. And these are going to be giant cats. They're going to be Siamese mixed with a Maine Coon. So they're going to be giant cats, probably with blue eyes. So you're talking about a 30-pound breed mixing with a Siamese. It's going to be an interesting blend. I didn't intend it that way. I did not want those two to mate, and I've tried to separate. But look, when you neuter and you spade cats, it does things to them. Like it can change them a little bit. So I try not to do it until they at least find a good home and do it that way. They've been through so much. Why do that to them? So, all right, you guys, if you have questions again about Section 8 low-income housing, we can do that. If you want to talk about cats or dogs, I love dogs too. I'm actually probably going to get a Rottweiler. And I'm going to tell you why. I used to own one, and we call him Big Bear. And the reason I call him Big Bear because he weighed 198 pounds. He was a very, very big dog. I think the cats would do well with that. But I'm going to get him as a baby. So the cats have the relationship already pre-installed and built. I'm not going to actually go buy a 200-pound Rottweiler, stick it in the house, and watch everybody flip out. So we'll start at puppy level. And then hopefully all the cats will, enjoy the company. Because I've always enjoyed the company of Rottweilers. And I don't know, I like them. And so I think it'd be a good addition to the house. So let's take a look at the questions that we got up here. How do I get my cat to gain weight? Well, I tell you what, you feed them ham and hot dog. Let's think about it. Cats have very delicate balance for diet. Now, if the cat's got a nutritional problem, you should find a better food. Okay, I'm very careful about nutrition because you could end up ending your cat's life early by feeding them trash and garbage and table food. You have to be careful. I did not cause the problem with my big cat. He is like a actor. He knows the neighborhood, and he panhandles the neighbors. I know he doesn't. Okay. I've talked with my neighbors. Because he's big, he's a novelty. He lets other people, complete strangers, pet him, and then he'll go sit in somebody's house on their couch. I'll let him do it. And they feed him tortillas and chicken and bullshit. I can't control what Big Pops does. I'm not going to trap him in the house. He is indoor, outdoor. I respect the cat, and I respect all my cats to have the freedom to have stimulation outside. So they do visit with the neighbors, and I've told them not to feed him, but some do, and that's what it is. And he likes to eat. And besides, he's a 30-pound cat anyway, so he's going to be big. Boy, we sure did go up in a wild tear, right? We're not even talking about Section 8 anymore. We're talking about homeless cats. Gail Resources says, "Oh, Big Papa, yeah." Bama Mama says, "Beautiful. I'm in love." And Mary Jones, "I have proof I paid, but they won't use it. They only want repayment." So Mary Jones appears to be talking about payment to possibly the housing authority or the landlord. So If you have proof, then that would be one small factor for your case. So cases are important to build when you're talking about Section 8 and you have a case of discrimination. And that's about the only way you can really deliver those cases is making sure you're actually meeting the title, act, and pretense of the law itself. Gale Resources says, sweet face. Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, look, in Texas, we don't get winter till the following year. It's like 99 during Christmas Day. But when it does get cold, January, February, super cold, all of them come to in the bedroom, in our bedrooms, and they're great bed warmers, especially Big Pops. I actually go looking for him because he'll keep your feet toasty. But if you move too quick, you get a claw. He loves when you move around at night and you're doodling with your feet in your sleep. He will claw you, and it's like being hit by a surgical razor. It is no joke. So you have to be careful to put a blanket over your feet around Pops when you're sleeping. Anyways, Didi, I want a fat cat. Fat cats are cool cats, man. You should see the reactions I get when I put him in the car and we go through McDonald's. And I show the ladies through the window, like, that's really a cat. So one of the local McDonald's actually keeps cat treats there because they like to feed Big Pops. He's a novelty. Roland Bays, I had a chocolate point for years ago. Well, Roland, man, you should get you another pet, man. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of things I could do to relieve stress. I could sit in the bar and get drunk. I could try with crack cocaine and see what that does. Okay, there's lots of shit I could do to relieve stress. And I also know all the different ways you can wreck yourself. Pets are a fantastic way to relieve stress. Why? Because they enjoy your company. If you don't do any, if you don't harm them, they immensely enjoy your company. They get to understand who you are, and they are as loyal as they get. Humans only they try hard to be good people. Cats and dogs, by virtue, are just pleasant until we make them unpleasant. You know what I'm saying? So, Roland, I would suggest if you really want a good piece, something really good to do with time and your money, get a pet, get a cat, get a dog. They do so much for you spiritually, inside of you, mentally, so many things it does. It's having them around will make you quit looking at the TV and doing boring shit, and they give you a great reason. It's kind of like having kids, but without the cost, obviously, and sometimes the stress. So pets are a great thing to have. 22 ways for me to have something better to do. Anyways, Jalen looks like a parent. Child, let's see, Jalen says like a parent. Thank you, Jalen. Yeah. Well, these are all my kids. I don't have any kids. I never really wanted any. I was married 17 years. She passed away. I have cats. I'm fine with that. So I'll be the old man, with solid white hair and a bunch of cats. I guess so. Kiss My Dark says, well, gave me a lot of kitty faces. Oh my goodness, there are a lot of comments here. All right, so I forgot I had to scroll down to see the rest of the comments, so I'm working through them. Barbara C says pretty. Jalen says gorgeous beauty. Yes. Dark Sky says my egg donor mother is that way. She's the reason I'm on disability. I love animals. That's right. That's the best. Let me tell you, pets are a cure for a lot of the stress we're going. The pandemic's not easy to survive. Fixed incomes, low incomes, stress of finding a home, stress of keeping a home. They do a lot of wonders for you. And let me tell you, the holiday season's coming up. It's going to be happy and sad for a lot of us. Some of us will be in tears. Some of us will be grateful. And some of us will be absolutely devastated by, what's happening. I know a lot of you guys are here because you're struggling with housing. So Timmy P says, love kitties. Yeah, thank you. Terry Norman, I adopted a tabby once. She died after 17 years from cancer. Well, you know what, Terry Norman, that cat had the best caretaker. You gave it its best life. That's what matters. Wouldn't you hate to take your last breath on this earth and find out that actually all the shit you did to pets and animals and other people actually really mattered that much? So for those of us that are good spirited, that's a good thing. It helps. Kiss My Dog says, I'm sorry, Terry. Kiss My Dog also says, your cats are so beautiful. Well, thank you. When I get these cats, they're mangy. I'd be honest. Some of them are missing an eye. Some of them have broken legs. Some have burns. Some of them have mental problems from what they've been through. They're just too damaged. And so It's always good to see them restored. Just like when I deal with clients with housing, a lot of you have been through so much that you're mentally broken by the process. Nobody cares. You deal with housing authorities that don't care. You deal with housing authority employees that are rude, they're condescending. They can't even give you a straight fucking answer. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you struggle. And then those, many of you have disabilities where you may have problems with schizophrenia, bipolar. I work with a lot of clients that have very serious illnesses that are high functioning. I also work with a lot of developmentally challenged people. They may have Asperger's and other things, and they function like any of us. Some of them actually have very high IQs. They just have functional social problems. But the same thing I see play across, whether you're young or you're old or you're disabled, is a home is an absolutely essential, most important thing in your life. It's more important than a car. If you don't have a roof over your head, we have a serious problem. And a lot of you are not able to get what you need based on strict honesty. You go down there and you can't even get a voucher. So, um, let's see. Mama, I love your bats. You call them bats? Well, they're cats. I know you mistyped that. So, Mary Jones, housing said my rent was lower. Now I show them the housing share letter they sent me, but now I won't use it. Mary, I'll tell you what, I think, Mary, the best thing we can do with your case is to move it to email, because I don't want to have you share a lot of private details in an open chat like this. Because I can't really solve your case in a chat window. It's just not, this is not the right place to do it. I mean, I know you got questions and I want to answer them, but we're going into, complete casework here into the chat window. So it would be better if you just email those details. Okay. Pamela Foster. Oh my God, Big Cat is great. Isn't he? I took a picture of him on the dining room table. He was trying to eat the decoration. Oh, by the way, I found a piece of pizza under the bed last week. When I got up, I went to the bathroom, and Big Pops, he took a slice and he hauled it off under the bed. It's not the first time I've had dinner, had to get up, do something, turn my back, and a whole pork chop is gone. And you don't find it for weeks later because it's somewhere under a couch so yeah, things vanish. And I sometimes think I'm losing it, but it's usually one of the cats snatching. They're like little burglars. One snatched a whole moon pie the other day. All I did was roll over and the moon pie was gone. Anyways, Peaches Gear. Hey, y'all. Hey, Peaches, good to see you back in the channel. Cynthia Smith, love my fur babies, 2 cats and a Yorkie. Excellent. Love to see all these pet owners, man. It's fantastic. Animals, let's see, Kissed by Dark. Animals never betray you. I don't want children of my own because I was pregnant right from the room, but I want my animal babies. Oh, I agree with you, Kissed. Terry Norman's laughing. Kissed by, says she's laughing. Mary Jones, my cousin has a huge cat and she loves bass. Let me tell you guys an interesting story. I'm so sorry. For those of you that have joined the channel for Section 8, we've gone off a little bit on pets, but it's part of the channel. It's part of the character of this channel. I will go back to Section 8 here shortly. So I have cats that literally use the toilet, okay? They've watched me, and they mimic me. And believe it or not, the small one I showed y'all earlier, Little Pops, he actually can do all fours over the commode. He unfortunately cannot do number 2 in the toilet for obvious reasons, but yeah, he does that. The unfortunate consequence of that is he also mistakes my very white kitchen sink, bathroom sinks as a commode as well. So he associates the white toilet as being a way to use the bathroom. He sees me use it, and often he will stand inside the sink, all fours out. At the same time that I'm doing my business, he will pee in my sink. That's a bit of a challenge, and I cannot hate him for that because I didn't teach it to him. He taught himself. He doesn't know that it's not something that he should do. I'm trying to untrain him from doing that in a friendly way. So every time I go in the bathroom, whether he's got to pee or not, he does it. It's quite interesting. So if I left this video right now, went in the bathroom, he would go in there with me. He'll go directly into the sink, and he'll spread all 4, and he'll mimic me for just a brief moment, a little sprinkle, and then he leaves with me. Most bizarre shit I've ever seen. Some of my cats do that, but not to the extent of him. He thinks because I raised him from a damaged baby, He views me as his parent, and he quite literally is learning to mimic shit I do. It's just strange, but that's what happens when you raise something as a small baby. They learn from you, and I sometimes wonder if he's confused me as being his parent. I am, but as a real cat, you know. So, anyways, for some of you, you might find that disgusting. But look, I'm not in the business of owning 22 cats because I'm worried about hair, fur, and doo doo. Okay, if you can't handle fur, hair, doo doo, yelping, piss on the wall, and stuff like that, then you're in the wrong business. Look, I spend a lot of time cleaning floor bases because every male cat, they'll piss on them. And that's how they mark your territory. It's a constant game. I keep an immaculate house, thankfully, but yeah, it. So yeah, it's interesting. Does he flush? You know what I've been showing him is the little handle on the sink. I've been showing him when he does his business. I'll do my finger and show him how to turn it, but he's not yet figured out how to turn the water on to flush in the sink. By the way, the sink he does this in is a guest bathroom. Nobody uses that. I wouldn't literally have the cat pissing in the sink at my Christmas party, stuff like that. But yeah, it's this mostly occurs in the second little bathroom up here, so it's not going to affect anybody's health. Hopefully, little pee ain't going to kill anything. So, yeah, I see. I've been trying to show him the water part. Maybe I'll try something different and see if he figures it out. Something he can put his claws into and pull it. Dee Dee says, "You are so sweet." Well, thank you. As seen on TV, CH7. My ribs hurt from laughing about your sink training cat. Hey, you know what? You know what? I just figured out a good reason. Now, on YouTube, just rolled out this 60-second thing. Now, most of you are older like me, so you know that they do that TikToking when they do a video for 60 seconds. Well, YouTube just created that. I might do a video. It's going to be, I got to catch him when I go to the bathroom, and then I'll show y'all. When you see this, it's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. He actually acts like a human, except the way he does it. I hope it's allowed on YouTube. Okay. So we're not going to show us goodies, but I'll show you what he's doing. And it's kind of interesting. So, hey, Monique, how are you doing? By the way, guys, if y'all haven't noticed, Monique Burns is in the channel. She has her own YouTube channel. She's a big Detroit real estate agent and broker. And she also makes a lot of videos about Section 8. Some of her videos are very successful. So y'all say hi to her. We're going to be doing a collaboration with her. And for those of you who are in Detroit, there's also potentials. I haven't talked to Miss Burns about this yet, but the voucher, using a voucher to purchase a home, I don't know if that's a available program yet in Detroit through the Housing Authority, but I'm hoping to talk to Miss Burns about that. Monique, how are you feeling today? I know that you've been feeling under the weather. I'll keep the reasons a secret, but how are you feeling? So yeah, guys, y'all should check out some of her videos. She has talked extensively on some topics regarding Section 8, and like I said, she's had a pretty successful run. I actually left a comment for her over a year ago. She'd made a video about a topic, and I left in there very interesting. And then finally, we crossed paths, and I think what we're going to be doing, actually, Miss Burns and I are going to be doing a joint video for you guys, and we're going to talk about some serious topics. And for those of you on my channel that are from the Detroit area, that would be a good time to watch the video because Miss Burns is a good resource for that. Okay. So if y'all want to follow her, just click on her name. That'll bring you to her channel, and then you can subscribe to her channel. She covers a wide topic, and she is a licensed broker and real estate agent, so she can help in certain respects, especially if you intend on moving there. So yeah, there's a lot that can be done there. I'm not a licensed real estate agent, so there you go. You got somebody that's on your side. Peaches says, "Oh, hope you feel better soon." I believe that was intended for Monique Burns. Tammy Peace, hi Monique from Detroit. Also, guys, I want to let you give you an update real quick. I talked to that news reporter in Arizona. We will be getting that report back from her when she writes the article, and I'm going to give you all a copy just to talk about it. And so, for those of you that have joined us or from the state of Arizona, we're going to be talking. There's going to be a news article specifically about the Housing Authority and out-of-state people applying there, and it's going to be an interesting piece. Okay. I gave my opinions about it, and she may choose to use any part of that in her article. And I'm going to publish that on our channel. Because right now the state is being inundated for people from all around the country. And what was interesting about our conversation about Arizona is, for some reason, there is a high influx of people from Chicago that are applying for one of the housing authorities in the state of Arizona. So much so that the numbers are skewed. I suspect that somebody's running a scam website on Google. They're targeting residents of Chicago that want Section 8. They're getting their credentials, and then they're using bots to apply automatically, which is skewing the numbers heavily for that particular housing authority. That's what I suspect. And we were talking about that with that. I was the news reporter today around 3 o'clock Texas time. So, yeah, y'all stay tuned. I'll let you know what happens about that article and what's going on. There's always some kind of thing going on. So, guys, I don't see any of my other cats here, so it looks like most of them are downstairs. It's been a cool, fresh day, and I think most of them are on the patio, sleeping on the barbecue grill and so on. So back to the topic of Section 8. So again, for those of you that have joined us, there's about 28 of you live right now. If you have questions about Section 8 housing, vouchers, porting, where you're taking your voucher moving to another state, or if you're trying to obtain a voucher to eventually move, that would be a good question. If you've experienced discrimination from a landlord, from a real estate agent, broker, so the only reason I brought up real estate agents is because they are part of the process in some states finding housing for you guys. Also, bad landlords, maintenance, and so on. I do handle some discrimination cases, but some do reach the level where you actually do need to hire an attorney. I'm a great mid-level intermediary for that because it affords you to be able to figure out how to do it without spending a great deal of money before you reach the point where you're actually dealing with an attorney, where you're going to fork out $5,000. That's the big problem with discrimination and housing authorities and so on. The cost is so prohibitive that almost nobody files these reports, So I figured out that process a long time ago, and I'm reasonably effective. But again, I cannot counsel y'all legally. I can only tell you, hey, these are the necessary steps to go through to get this right, and within reason, within the limits of the law. In addition to that, for those of you that are 55 plus, 62 plus, then, a great topic would be subsidy housing, tax credit properties. That's when a private landlord owns or buys a property, and for 40 years, he gets tax credits, and in return, he allocates a certain portion of those units for people that may be disabled, that may be 55 plus, 62 plus, or maybe younger for any reason. And those properties you can apply it. So there's lots of questions revolving around that. For those of you that were released out of a county jail, federal prison, for those of you who are homeless, there are different programs for you. If you have HIV or AIDS, there are programs, including HOPA, Ryan White, that can help you with housing as well. And so you see, I'm going through it. If you're 62 and older, we can discuss Section 202. If you're a student in a college with a disability, then we can talk about student housing and regular housing under Section 504 program. And so there's a bunch. I can name about over 130 types of vouchers and funding levels that we could potentially approach for you as a client if you choose to hire me. If you don't hire me, that's fine. I'm good with that. But you'll notice in my videos that I talk extensively about the different types of vouchers. We have to be clever in these days because pre-pandemic, it was already extremely difficult to get housing, to keep housing, or even get it, okay, including getting a voucher. With a pandemic, then we saw housing prices go really high. Landlords didn't get paid, and so things are so much more difficult now. Now we're approaching the holidays, and we just watched millions get evicted. And so it's increased the market cap of the number of people that are seeking vouchers to an unbelievable level. And so when you apply now, to have a reasonable chance at even getting a voucher, you have to do every single part of this expeditiously. And your answers and how you qualify for preferences must be perfect. There's no room for error. You're competing with 10 times more people than you were pre-pandemic. And because of that, there's half the vouchers that were a year ago. You see my point? That's why a lot of people choose to work with me. Because to be frank with you, it's virtually impossible to get through the system anymore reasonably. A lot of you are having to pack your things and move to other states. One thing I'll tell you about, I was thinking about Monique Burns there. I was telling you about her and her channel, and she'd been making those Section 8 videos. A lot of houses in Detroit, so they're starting to get the city starting to renew itself, but the property values are pretty good. So are Arkansas and Oklahoma. Look, guys, there's not. You can still buy a house for $40,000, $50,000 in fair condition in some of your smaller states. Okay, that might seem like a miracle, right? That same house would cost you $1 million in California in certain parts. I can get an acre of land and a 3-bedroom house from the 40s and 50s. Okay, it's not the picture of perfect home, but you know good clean sheetrock. All the cabinets are fairly new, carpets in, everything looks pretty normal. Just an older house, and you could pick up those houses between 40 and 60K in Arkansas, Oklahoma, all the way through Detroit. And so, guys, look, 60K is not a lot to have to finance. If you can go and choose to live a simpler life in a different state, you might be able to improve the quality of your life. It couldn't be that hard to pay off 60 grand, even if you worked at Taco Bell. So you should consider the things, guys. You're never going to get anywhere renting all the time. And no, you guys, I don't want to see y'all forever have the foot of the housing authority, the what I call the housing authority flip flop on your neck, because you're always going to be having to be stuck in that system and have to follow rules. This is, who wants to be a kindergartner anymore, where you have to be played to play to their rules all the time. That's the thing. I'm trying to push you guys to go out there and hopefully get a home and utilize the system better. Okay, that way you can move on. And those extra rooms in that house, you could lease to other people and actually make money. Wouldn't that be nice? Some of you I've helped have gone from renters to homeowners. It's the proudest day. It's like having children all over again, because I see people that went from having a little bit, going and losing everything, end up in a shelter with nothing, reverse from there and get stable, get housing, get a voucher, and then we reverse course up to getting a home. And so I'm seeing people not just get into the system successfully, but I'm seeing them exit it permanently, moving on and enjoying life. So it's okay sometimes to own a shitty house. Okay, it's a hell of a lot better than living in a community complex where you're in there and you got Bob smoking crack, you got Sally turning tricks out of Unit 3A, you got gunshots and gang activity. Why don't we try, as much for most of your cases, to work on seeing what it would take to get you a home where you don't hear screaming children and you don't have to deal with the shitty laundromat or the crazy landlord anymore. Why not be your own landlord? I've got to get you guys now. I am the Section 8 advocate, and I'm telling you guys, I hope very much that at some point you don't need what I'm offering, that we can get you onto there. So yeah, that way you can take your cats and your pets and enjoy your life in your own home, and then do good. All right, so let me get off the rant and then answer a few questions. As seen on TV is the person that's commenting now. Have SSI and HUD Bash voucher 8 years. I moved 2 years ago to a tax credit property. Today, I asked the manager what the renewal rate will be. She gave me a sheet of 1, 2, 3 BR rates, 50%, 60% per each. I pay more. Why? Under HAP contract, any place that you're subsidized, they have the right to increase your rent every 6 months. Guys, what you don't realize is you also have the right to tell the housing authority, look, rent just went up, so I would like to have my case reassessed because the cost of living is going up. So I would like to apply to see if my voucher could be funded at a higher level. So landlords push the rent up all the time under these Section 8 programs. Why are you guys not actually every 6 months going to the housing authority? Hey, look, cost of living is going up, so we're going to have to discuss adding an extra crispy $50 on this voucher a month to help me keep up with the costs. Virtually none of you do that. You accept the voucher once, and you're living on the rent they gave you in 1981, and you never ask for an increase. I don't get that. But in the meantime, your landlord continues to increase his rent but you never go back and ask for more. Guys, y'all got to do a better job of taking care of yourself. If you didn't know it was debatable, then I would say talk to a consultant or hire one. Okay, there's so many other things you could be doing to improve your situation. Moving on back up. Let's see. Tammy Peace. Hi, Monique, Detroit here. So it looks like Tammy Peace lives out in Detroit. Good deal. Pura says, hello, can anyone apply for a voucher, 811 or 202, or if there's no waiting list open? Well, if you qualify, then they would likely grant you a voucher under the funding levels for Section 811. The number 811 is a sub-designation of federal regulation or federal code that explains what the voucher would do under Section 811, which is an entitlement for that of those with a disability. 202 is another subsection. Think about tax law. And so you have subsections of tax law with numbers, rows and numbers. And so 202 explains that if you are a senior of such age with or without a disability, then you would be granted a voucher for that specific purposes. So it's not so much that you get a literal voucher with a number on it. It says Section 811. And it's not that you're applying for it. If it's applicable to you for the reasons by virtue of you being a certain age or for a certain disability, then it will be granted to you automatically. There's no reason to apply for it. That's why when you go to the housing, hey, can I get a Section 811? That's when they look at you and go, well, what the hell's that? Because you're actually talking about the federal code that's under Title 24, okay? So anyways, Brittany Madera, hey, man, what's going on? Glad to see you back on the channel. Guys, I'm about to wrap this up soon. My throat's starting to kill me. I think I overdid it again today because I've been up since 2 a.m. Working on cases, and then I had to get on the phone and consult with you guys all day. And now I've been on this video for an hour and 11 minutes, and my vocal cords are about to give in. I'm just tired. So, but I have truly, truly enjoyed talking with y'all. If y'all want to see the muffins, some of the cats, I showed them a little bit earlier. The Siamese, big pops and little pops. The little cat likes to pee in the sink. So I'm going to take a few more questions, and then we're going to close it out tonight. And by the way, guys, I'll be back on, let's see, today's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, probably Sunday around 4 or 5 p.m. Texas time. Texas time would be Central Standard. And I think we're going to talk about accommodations. So for those of you that are trying to get reasonable accommodations, so when you receive a voucher, and some of you have disabilities, and so I'm not talking about putting the handicap ramp or shower bars in there because you can't stand in a shower. There's all kinds of accommodations. We're going to cover the full spectrum because if you don't know what's available to you, then you could spend a lifetime being disabled and not get any of this. The housing authority is never going to make it their job to apprise you of all the great options that they offer. They'll just simply keep them a secret, and only those that realize how to utilize that system will get it. That's what I tell you. If you're waiting for the people at the housing authority to do one fucking thing to help you, you are completely out your mind. Those people don't give a shit. There's lots of things they can offer, but they're not going to do it. That is your job. They're not compelled under federal law to give you a menu of options you can choose from either. Just like when you call them and you need specific answers, you ever notice besides the attitude and the weak answer they give you, if any, that's normally just bullshit, there's a reason why they do that. It'd just be a lot easier if you would shut up and go away and quit bothering them because they really, really don't like earning their paycheck. So you're nothing, trust me, once you get your voucher, you're clearly nothing but an annoyance to them. And so I'm not telling you that to be rude, but what I am saying is this. If you expect these little people at the housing authority to do anything for you, apprise you of your rights, give you anything additional, or even care about your case, you're mistaken. 20 years of doing this, I've seen nothing but the most horrifying, shitty people work at housing authorities. The few that are good, by the time they work there a year, they turn evil. I do have people that are members of my channel that are housing authority employees. They do follow me. Some are very good people. Some say lots of profanities about it. I quite enjoyed that. Hey, guys, anytime a housing authority prefers me and my channel to vanish, it means I'm doing an exceptional job. I know that the state of California, Texas, Illinois, New York, and about 7 other states register in my analytics for this channel. That means they are watching my videos from their government computers. Now, I don't know if they're watching for me to make a mistake so they can kick my door in and haul me into a federal court for cheating the system. But I'm not breaking any laws, guys. What I'm doing is I'm exploiting within the reason and limits of the law. and I'm successful at what I'm doing. Look, these states don't follow my channel. They don't watch my videos because I'm bad at my job. They do it because I'm exceptional at my job. I'm on their radar. I'm fine with that. I've been on that radar for 7 years. Look, they don't hang around channels where you're Mickey Mouse and just giving tips and tricks. When you're good at it like me, you attract the attention of a lot of people. If y'all go to that community page, you roll back about 400 posts, you'll see how many times reporters have come to the channel and written articles. You'll see how many times people have published their housing vouchers in the channel and have successfully gotten this. You'll see that also we made a video for BOP, which means that the federal prison system didn't hire me directly. They hired a subcontractor, and we made videos to help inmates. Okay, so my reputation does stand alone. I'm good at what I do. I'm damn good at it. So I think the next thing we're going to be moving on to is we're going to wait on the state of Arizona and that reporter for her report. And, it just adds another notch to the post, because if what I was doing wasn't good, my channel would be filled with angry, pissed off people that feel like they'd been burned and ripped off. Very contrary. My record has been nearly flawless through this whole process. Have I failed? Absolutely. 6 to 7% is my loss ratio. That's how badly I do my job. 93% of the time, people get what they come to me for. Okay? I don't sell vouchers. What I do is show you how to get through a shitty system, get what you need, and move on with your life. That's something I'm exceptional at doing, and I put the work in. Being a rodeo clown, a party clown at a child's party, and starting a YouTube channel giving out a few tips and tricks, bullshit. I don't do that. I have a strong career in this. I am considered number one on YouTube. I'm number one on Google. So I do take these cases very seriously. And most of you know that I'm passionate about it. Anytime I can win against a housing authority, I'm quite delighted. Trust me. So it's not a job where I just clock in. I'm quite passionate at winning, especially when I'm able to help seniors and disabled and so many others, pull them out of shelters, pull them from under the bridge, get them in a home, and watch their life move on. I wish it could be for everybody, but it's unfortunate. There's not enough of me out there. All right. So we go back to a few more questions here. Honey and lemon works well. Well, hell, I'd need to shove a whole lemon tree down my throat right now, because that's how sore my throat is, Bama. Marie Lane, thank you so much. Thank you for thanking me. By the way, guys, one thing that I do appreciate more than anything, for those of you that I'm helping or have helped, when you guys say thank you, I appreciate it greatly. Because imagine this. Imagine spending nearly 7 years to almost a decade on YouTube. People get what they need all the time from these videos, over 200 videos. Nobody paid me to do that stuff, and I rarely get thanked for it. So when y'all gotta say thank you, it truly means a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's at the very least the most respectful thing that I find from people is just thanking. So yeah, thank you for saying thank you. Let's see what other questions we got here. I hate it when you end your lives. I hate it when you end your lives. Oh, okay, I get what you mean. Yeah. Well, I hate it when I end them too, but can only do so much. Brittany, yes, accommodations for Section 8 would be amazing. Yeah, we're going to talk about all kinds of ways. Let me tell you something about this accommodations video Sunday. What I'm going to do is we're going to stroll through the mall. Is what we're going to do. We're going to go to Macy's, and what we're going to do is we're going to go at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to look at Macy's as being the housing authority. And what I'm going to do is just like a burglar does. I'm going to break the window, go in, and get what I need to get from our clients. Okay, I'm going to prize you on everything they wish you didn't know. So Sunday, what we're going to do is we're going to rob them. Okay. Why do we need to do that? Because first of all, nobody needs to beg for shit that's already free. This is ridiculous. Okay. Why would you need to go to the housing authority and beg as if they were pulling that fucking, as if they owned it, as if they were pulling their money out of their own purse? No. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the whole list available. That way everybody can get what they need, despite them. So you know what? It's too bad they got to earn that paycheck. So I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to know to get these fucking accommodations, because I've had it with this. People being treated like trash. You can't get what you need, and everything's got to be a bureaucratic process. So we're going to try to solve part of it. I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to get everything you want, but I can tell you one thing. We get through with that video, you'll know a hell of a lot more about accommodations, and it will make it super hard for them to deny it. Because one thing I'm good at is I'm methodical about making sure you do things in the right order. If you follow the steps in the correct manner, I don't mean just, hey, hello, can I get an accommodation? That's bullshit. You have to do it and make sure we have a matter of record. That way we can force them into it. Okay. So it's all about being clever, but it's also understanding how this is designed to work and operate. And if your request is reasonable, you will get it. All right, let's take on these other questions. I see y'all lighting up this window again. What more questions? Let's see. Al Dominique. In today's environment, what is the reality of getting anything from HUD or Section 8? Assume I'm perfectly qualified. Well, Al, I would say you have a real good chance. If I was working on your case, you'd have a stellar chance. Odds would be about 93%. You'd get what you want, okay? But here's the deal. Let's make no mistake. Dealing with the housing authority and HUD's not easy. It's a process. It's tedious. The people you're dealing with are a pain in the ass. The process is confusing. And you have to be well-spirited with this, which means you really want to be persistent and you can stick with it. If you view it as, oh, well, it's just going to be like McDonald's. I'm going to drive up and I'm going to say cheeseburger. In 3 minutes, I'm going to get what I want. If you have that mindset, then this is going to go horribly for you. I have a lot of people that were used to be suburban individuals, and now they went from medium class. Now they've been zeroed out. They're no class, and they just can't understand why they can't go just drive through window and get a fucking voucher. Some people really do have a loose screw, and those clients are hard to work with. But for those of you that are willing to put the work in, that can follow direction and can handle the adversity and all the drama that goes on with this stuff, apply with the paperwork, it takes weeks and so on, then we get through the process, you get what you want. The reward is there. But for lazy people, it'll never work. So I would say you've got a good chance, man. If you really want this, yes. Jacqueline, how you doing? It looks like Jacqueline Juno. I believe it. Okay. And then Little Spence. How's it going, my friend? You mentioned you can port your Section 8 if the new county you want to move to can absorb you. If they can't absorb you, can the county you're in get Section 8 currently paying? Okay, so portability is what you're talking about. There are two ways that a housing authority can address it. So we'll just pretend that you're in New York and you're wanting to go to Houston. All right. After we get an RTA packet, we would summon the other housing authority or portability specialist for the other housing authority, and you would ask them essentially if they can absorb you, which means you relinquish the voucher in the state of New York, and they issue you a voucher from that housing authority in Texas, Houston, Texas. If they don't want to absorb, then they go into a billing process, which means the city of Houston will send out a bill to the state of New York, and they'll have to pay it every month. Look, states do not like doing billing, okay? Why would they want for you to be in their system but living across the nation? So absorbing is usually the concept. If they don't want to do you for absorbing, then you're going to have to select a different county that does, okay? That whole process, including paperwork and conversations back and forth, filing and everything, typically takes around 45 days. And that's if you know it as well as I do. Some people struggle through it at 60 and 90 days. And also, let's keep in mind that one malfunctioning housing authority filled with people with attitudes and all that. So you can imagine one housing authority filled with a building full of ignorant with attitude, try to communicate with another housing authority with ignorant attitude. Those two communicating, that's when it's like watching Sunday football. So you have two ignorant ass housing authorities that are trying to tell each other, run each other's life, and deal with your case. I got to tell you, sometimes porting is it's a miserable game. It's a miserable game because one housing authority, well, we're not doing that. You'll have to meet our policy, the New York policy, and so you see employees different housing authorities getting attitudes with each other. To be frank with you, if I could, I would start portability in every county just for the fun of watching them talk shit to each other. Now, does it play out that way all the time? No, I'm just saying I find it quite amusing when one housing authority actually treats the other one badly. It's sometimes retribution is a bitch, and it's fun watching it. Anyways, let me move on. Tanya Jackson, disabled, arrested for a BB gun in public. How can I find this and be approved for a voucher? Tanya Jackson, look, let me tell you something, man. I had a guy spent 15 years in federal prison for bank robbery. He got a voucher. You don't have a problem, okay? Now, every housing authority handles criminal cases a different way. So, look, that goes back to a lot of you guys. You keep the perception of what you hear and read in the newspaper, what you read online, and what you see on TV. Some of you have the same perceptions you've had since the early 1980s, which means you're misinformed. So, unless you understand the true intent of federal regulation, Title 24, and so on, then you really don't understand exactly what they're looking at. Look, you being arrested, look, let me ask you a question. Why do you think Section 8, some properties are filled with people that obviously are dealing 20 pounds of crack cocaine, okay? Did you have people that have 95 prostitution charge? How do you think they got in there? How did they got Section 8? Look, you and that BB gun's not going to be a problem. You'll get what you need, Tanya. Now, whether you can do it on your own is a different story. So, if you're unable to get through this, in your own manner, I would say hire a consultant, hire somebody else, that can help you out. But yeah, that's not going to stop anything. Kiss by Dark gives me a thumbs up with starry eyes. Man, y'all have really intensified the number of questions here. Mary Jones, you are a blessing. Thank you. Well, you're most welcome. Kathy Houston, like the name. I have a voucher that only allows me to live in one bedroom for $650 a month, but there is nowhere around that has rent this low or anything I can do. Well, Kathy, we will see that we could probably file into two cases. One would be reasonable accommodation, and two, to be able to raise your. My brain is just about done for today. I'm so tired. So we can do it under affordable accommodation, and we get you reevaluated. So we could do a recertification to see whether or not you could be allowed to get a raise on the voucher based on the economics changing. So I don't know how long you've had that. There's a whole lot I'd have to ask you, Kathy. But yeah, there's a way to do that. If the housing authority doesn't want to cooperate in that county, we just port you out of there to a different housing authority that's more reasonable, and we can get you a higher number on the voucher. Okay. Sometimes if you live out in the South, like if you're out there and you're in Mississippi or Alabama, that might be the reason why the voucher's worthless. Sometimes we have to port around and change your life a little bit to get a higher value, and then you port back. So there's all kinds of ways to address that. Brittany Madero, yes, truly appreciate you. Inspired me stand up to the housing authority matter. I don't really stand up. I'm more like a what am I to the housing authority? I don't know. I just don't like them. I like some of the employees, but housing authorities, I got to tell you, man. Look, I have no love for that at all. Okay, people are not paperwork. You can't make snap decisions about whether or not a 90-year-old woman that's on a walker is going to get a voucher and deny her. A parent with a child that depends on oxygen, but you don't give a shit. You deny their voucher. Let me tell you something. And then we're hiring people with the lowest educational level, just straight ignorant, to go in there and make life or death decisions over people that are the most vulnerable is the most horrifying thing that I've seen in this country. And so, yeah, I take great pride in making the process for the housing authority as miserable as possible. Every single chance I get to go against them and to get my clients what they need is absolutely, I take what's a great deal of prestige doing that, man. I take a great lot of pride. Now, I want you to understand something. Not every housing authority I deal with is bad. There's lots of great ones, okay? But there's lots of terrible ones, too. Jacqueline June, my daughter lives in Florida in a property that already accepts Section 8 if she can get it. She works but won't last that long. She's extremely ill. Well, Jacqueline, if you to speed through that process, look, I'm not trying to sell you on my service. You're really going to need a consultant if you're trying to get through this quickly. There's no look. I understand the emergency, everybody wanting a voucher quickly, but it doesn't really work that way. I have techniques that I use to speed it up, obviously, but there are other things, and I need to know a lot more about your case. There's a lot of other ways you could get vouchers besides a housing authority, guys. A lot of you guys are sitting there waiting for 10, 15 years. There's so many other vouchers and ways to get them than going and dealing with that silly housing authority. I made lots of videos about it. Gale Resources said something, but it got retracted. I've lost track on the comments here. Okay. Yeah, research watching that accommodation video will be fun. Oh, it will. When I make that accommodation, we're going shopping. It's going to be like the home shopping network. The only thing I'm going to do is screw every housing authority in America. I'm going to teach y'all exactly what you need to do. We're going to put the painting on the wall, and we're going to push the gas, and just that's what it is. Look, this doesn't need to be a secret. So much of the stuff they should be telling you, but they don't. So we're going to put you know what, it'd be just like trick or treat. I'm going to be giving out the goodies. And a matter of fact, isn't Sunday Halloween? So that'll be our trick or treat show. We're doing trick or treat, and what we're going to do is we're going to open up all the cabinets at the housing authority, and we're going to be giving out accommodations. Again, I just want to make clear, it doesn't mean you're actually going to get one, but you have a better chance after we watch that video. Monique Burns, I don't have tenants. Monique Burns, hey, welcome back. Don't tenants have to find the house before they port? Well, not necessarily, Monique, because typically what starts is they would give notice at the landlord they're at, then they start the RTAF packet with their housing authority. Then that housing authority will reach out to the ones, if it's local, but a lot of times across the country, and then the housing specialist or the portability specialist by the housing authority. What usually happens with that is they'll either make a determination of whether or not they can do the billing process or absorbing there. So no, they don't actually do the. That's the gamble of it. So you're leaving and you go 1,100 miles to Florida. You get there, you get the voucher. There's no guarantee you're going to be able to find a place. That's the thing, Monique. But the thing we can do is so we can get them to file extensions up to 2 different times. And there are other clever ways to utilize the law to extend the extensions. Now, it'd be so sad if you, for some reason, were on your second extension, but you just happened to trip on the sidewalk and you had a medical injury that prevented you from completing that process. Again, if you're looking for somebody that knows how to bend the law to its will, trust me, I'm the guy. So I would say that, if you catch your toenail on the sidewalk, then unfortunately, federal law said they're going to have to give you another extension. Look, I can play as many games as the housing authority can play. And anytime they don't want to comply with federal rules, federal policies, we can play the game further. And I can trust me, at the end of the day, I can turn them against each other. There's all kinds of remedies for that shitty system, okay? Especially when you know what the rules are. That's the nice thing. When you work at the housing authority, you already know what the rules are. Now imagine a guy that spent 20 years taking those rules and shooting holes in them. Any which way I can bend them. And then you take that and you multiply that by dealing with all 50 states, hundreds of housing authorities. So I've seen every game they could play. It's all in the rule book. So all I got to do every day of my life for 20 years, just thinking how to bend the rules, find the loopholes, and then force them into compromise and permission situations. I've told you all about trapping these employees into violating federal law. That's what I tell you. Don't ever do shit by a phone. Make sure they email it. You catch them on that bad day when they say the wrong things, then you trap them. So there's a fantastic playbook, just like a good lawyer. There's all kinds of ways. So look, guys, you don't need to utilize all that stuff in order to have a really good case to get what you want, okay? It doesn't normally go that far. It only happens when you're dealing with a really shitty housing authorities like LA or some places in New York. So I don't want y'all to believe that you got to have a guy like me completely mangle the housing authority to get what you want. I'm just saying you can expedite when you truly understand the process all the way through, okay? When you have the policies, procedures, data manuals, and so on, you have an unparalleled advantage against them. You know what they know. So then we're competing toe-to-toe, okay? And then if you understand policy, then it's open to interpretation. And then the arbitration part of it is HUD will make the final decision when I file a dispute about it, okay? So I take it out of their control. So they make their own policies. But unfortunately, the policies they create doesn't mean they're necessarily are not a violation of federal rules. And then I can get another decision made to can overrule them. It's kind of like going from the local courthouse and I take them up to the Supreme Court, which would be what? HUD DC or HUD regional. And then I let them decide the case on the merits. Now, if I present a case of a client that's been abused and she's a senior and they've treated her badly and they're violating her federal rights and ADA law and American Disabilities Act, and I build a good little case, how do you think that's going to turn out? So how do we make that decision as to overturn their little snappy little rules they make? Housing authorities are great about just inventing whatever shit they want, and there's very little oversight on these policies they make sometimes. Sometimes they just tell people whatever they want to tell them because the telephone is not a matter of record. Nobody's really recording that. When you get in emails and certified letters, then it's real business. So that's only for the real serious cases. But anyways, and like I always tell you guys, it's always better to hire an attorney. I mean, I'm great at what I do. I'm a good affordable option, but I'm definitely not an attorney. And I don't ever want you to think that I am. Okay, it just means I have a lot of experience in the area. Okay, moving on. Renee Gibbons, how can I obtain a Section 80 if I'm disabled? Well, Renee, the obvious answer is obviously applying, but there's a lot to that, Ms. Gibbons. First, you'd want to type into Google Housing Authority and then followed by your county name. Then you'd want to call them and see whether or not they have a waiting list or a lottery. And then you'd ask them for an application. And then you have an option at that point. You can do it yourself or you can hire a consultant to assist you with it and see which one gives you better results. I'm not trying to give you a simple answer to be rude. I'm just saying that there's 0 point in me trying to explain for 40 minutes all the other things that should be considered, okay? I would suggest watching one of my earlier videos about that. It'd give you more insight, a little bit more control over how you would apply. I hope that helps you a little bit, okay? Captain Houston, I'm in Michigan. I like Michigan, and you guys out there get a nice, frosty, cool wind out there. I wish we had some of that in Houston. Renee Gibbons is I need a 2-bedroom because I'm a 24-hour nurse to live in. Well, Miss Gibbons, if you're there greater than 12 hours, then you are definitely need to talk with the person who has the Section 8 voucher. You can definitely get accommodation for that. Lumen Shadow Boy, let's see, he says, brother, thank you for everything. I appreciate that, man. Anytime you guys thank me for anything, even the smallest thing, I appreciate that, So, and I also appreciate y'all. Y'all have been good to me over these 7 years, most of you have treated me with respect and dignity. We live in a time and age when people on YouTube go around and leave random shitty comments that are disparaging, racist, and all kinds of stuff. So I appreciate that people have acted like grown adults on my channel. I do. I truly am. I'm glad I'm not a target like some channels. Let's see. Kathy Hernandez, my voucher is about to expire in December. If I get another extension, how long will I have since? Well, if you get another extension, you can technically get 2. Each extension can be 30 to 60 days. If for some reason you were to suffer through a medical emergency, ER visit, or so on, then you might be able to do a little bit more with it. Like I said, there's ways to persuade that, but you'd want to call and do, ask for the extension and have a good reason, okay? Dor Sanchez, hey, so Zor says, I'm getting ready to hire you very soon. Well, I look forward to speaking to you, Miss Sanchez. I'm hoping that before you hire me, do your homework. Make sure that you're making an informed decision because I'm not here to sell anybody anything anymore. I think my reputation speaks for itself. So I want all of you to do your homework when it comes to me and my reputation, whether it's on Google or YouTube, and make sure that it fits the course of what you need. Because the last thing any of you need is to burn money for no good damn reason. Okay. And deal with somebody that's selling you snake oil. I don't do that. I've been around too damn long, but I'm just saying you all should make informed decisions when you deal with Section 8 and people trying to help you, because there are a lot of websites out here that love nothing more to get your hands on your personal identifying information. The next thing you know, you're talking to somebody in East India that's going to need you to run out to CVS, and they're going to want you to get a bunch of gift cards, okay? And give them that code, and they're going to help you apply for everything. But first, they're going to need about $15,000 in gift cards. You know how that works, right? A lot of idiots that do it, and a lot of people fall for that. Oh, you hear that kitty. Come on, Pops, where are you? Where are you? Now my cats are starting to miss me. Well, he's crying, but oh well. I'll get to him in a minute. What, Papas? Where you at? Come on. Sorry, guys. When I stay too long in a video, my cats they get a little cranky because they want treats. Come on. Come on, Pops. Y'all get another look at little Pops, and I'm going to be wrapping up the video. So he's ready. That is his treat box. So he likes Temptations. All right, bub. Let me get you some treats. Bear with me, guys. Here, I'm going to feed the cat real quick. There you go. These things are like having an alcohol addiction. Once you get your cats trained on this stuff, I swear to you, it's like a cigarette company. They put something in this stuff, and these cats go absolutely apeshit over, okay? When I run out of treats temporarily for a day or two, the cats in this house get an attitude. Seriously. I mean, like they have just spent the night at the club, and they got a hangover. They do not, let me tell you, they do not play the game. And they know when Mr. Amazon's coming. When they hear the ding dong, every flipping cat's at the door because they're listening to hear whether that package, they can hear that jingle of the package. They know the cat treats sound like in this box. So they wait on Mr. Amazon. Especially Big Pops. He'll camp out on the patio waiting for the damn man. And they know what's in that box. They're waiting to hear them treats rattle in that box. It is no joke in my house. So when we don't have these, I usually keep 3 of them. I get nothing but shitty cats with attitude until the treats come around. So, so welcome to my house. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna answer just a few more questions. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. It's been an hour and 40 minutes, so this is actually a new record for me for videos. Doris Sanchez, we're ready to hire you. Tanya Jackson, thank you, sir. Jacqueline says, I sent her a zillion of your videos. Excellent. Share it, folks. Look, hey, these videos do more than you think. They're not just advice, guys. These videos can help people. Sometimes you'll have simple problems that can easily be addressed by some of the videos I've made. Good God, I've made 200 of them. Maybe the housing authority should hire me as a consultant so they can run their building better or program better. Bama Mama says, yes, Sunday, Halloween. Yep, we're going trick or treat, as I mentioned, on Sunday, and we're giving out, we're giving out the goodies for accommodations. Lumen says, nice. Guess my Dark says, you are a G. Oh, you're a goat. You are the goat, or GOAT. Not quite understanding the context of that. Thank you. You're a blessing. Tony Jackson says, my FHEO agent was uncooperative. My discrimination case will probably be denied. Can I dispute it? And thank you. She was uncooperative. Okay. I need to know more about that before I can answer it. And I cannot discriminate. We can't really discuss discrimination cases, especially federal cases involving federal employees with FHEO on YouTube. It's not permitted. Okay. So, Tony, I will enjoy talking to you about it, but when it comes to the feds, I don't fuck with them. Yeah, I'll fuck with the housing authority all day long, but I do not play with HUD. Okay. Those guys have a lot of power over things. And they're actually, HUD is your friend. Section 8 housing authorities are not, in my opinion. HUD is an excellent resource if you deal with them reasonably. So I want y'all to be able to distinguish the differences between good and bad, in my opinion. Mary Jones, sorry, a person will get hired in a housing, and after a few months, they take the country test. If they fail, then they get fired, and so backwards. Not quite sure, Mary, what you meant by that, but it sounds interesting. Kathy Houston says, Queen Speed, lots of lapping. Bam, I need to look at ingredients for those. I'm pretty sure they're loading those cat treats with catnip, okay? I think they're doing that on the cool because there's no way these cats are just ready to do circus tricks the minute you get it. Especially this particular one. Man, you talk about personality. The cats turn bipolar when they don't have these treats. As seen on TV says, do you have a book or ebook of HUD housing or voucher information? I've got about 13,000 books and manuals, as seen on TV, a lot of which I compelled under federal law, which means I can't just hand them out. It means when I compel and I send in a request for an in-house counsel or an attorney to give that as information as privileged to me. So I cannot just turn those over to anybody. If you have the right merits for a case, you could receive that, or you could purchase from Nana McKay, but you would need about 24 grand and a couple of years of your life to pass all the certifications. I could give you some information, regarding a specific detail, but I can't just turn over state, federal manuals, operation manual, all that. I can't just give it out. That would cause havoc at a housing authority because anybody with common sense could exploit the system if they actually had some of these manuals. And then again, you know how good I am at that. They are character cats. Yes, they have lots of personality. I do believe so, man. Diane Dreams has chimed in and said, question, please. What proof do I need to HUD domestic violence? They pulled me from the waiting list and said to me, send proof. What is proof, please? They pulled you for a list. Okay. Let me tell you something. You want proof? What happens when you call 911? Cop shows up. Hey, look, Bob just ran off. I don't know where the hell he went. Could you just, can I get a police report number? There you go. There's your proof. Simple as that. So sorry the cop couldn't find Bob. Okay. The thing about this is the DV stuff, man. Look, most victims aren't going to report a real name, and most of this is not going to be court paperwork. Some of you have a case with the district attorney's office. Some of you don't. You're not required by law to prove jack shit. Now, if they want a police report, that's fine. Give them the card from the cop when he arrived. Maybe he was there. Maybe what? Simple as that. Look, they're not licensed counselors. They can't compel you to do any shit. That's the thing, guys. Y'all take these people at their face value. So what happens when they deny you? They deny your case of a voucher. Now they're the ones in violation. You don't have to comply with shit. You only have to comply with federal regulation. And nowhere is it written in there that the victim's job is to prove it. You see my point? So they can invent whatever rule they want, and then I would just take that case straight to HUD and have them overruled, and then they'll just accept whatever you say. Kiss my dog, greatest of all time, Bama, goat, greatest of all time. Okay, I get it. Jacqueline, but can I fight them with you behind me? Well, Jacqueline, at this point, it's 20 years of doing it. I don't think there's many housing authorities that aren't unaware of me. It would be very unsmart for you to tell them that you are dealing with me because a lot of them tighten up the minute that I know I'm involved. It's just like a lawsuit, man. You don't ever let them know what's coming. Because if you do, these people watch my channel, man. So they're also looking for ways to counter what I'm doing. So, it's a tightrope. So, guys, look, I'm going to wrap this up. This has been an hour, 46 minutes. I'm struggling at this point. I've enjoyed talking with all of you. I've enjoyed showing you all my cats. We're going to do trick or treat Sunday, and we're going to get some accommodations, okay? Whether they want it or not. It is what it is. If you guys are struggling, you don't want to sit up, worry, and cry, and be depressed or whatever, and you'd rather somebody else work in your case, then I suggest you just hire me. As simple as that, okay? I don't need to sell you anything. It's if you need the help, then you need help. If you don't, you don't. It's simple as that. I'm a pretty straightforward guy when it comes to that. I'm going to give you links to book an appointment. I'm going to give you a link to my website. And then from there, y'all do your own research. And if it's equitable for you, makes sense, then do it. If not, then, hey, you know what? Pray. Get on your knees, pray. Ask God to help you or your neighbors and see what happens, Nobody has to pay me a nickel. You don't have to pay anybody anything. There's 200 videos to teach you. Also, 211 and 311, the idiots that work there, be happy to wreck your life and get you a voucher. There's lots of ways for you to get free information, okay? But if you truly need the help and you don't want to put a lot of your own time into it, then I'm happy to spend my time helping you with the case, in a case by case deal. So, all right, guys, I'm out of here. I gotta go pet these cats, and we'll see y'all Sunday. Bye bye.